Wrinkled humanoid aliens. Several different types of wrinkled ET humanoids have been reported and described by abductee-experiencers, and this information has made it into the literature in several publications. However, their descriptions are so varied that it's impossible to discern any real information about them as a single race or species. Therefore, we can only provide examples taken from the best sources and let the reader decide who they are and what their purpose is for interacting with certain humans. Please keep in mind that many of the beings have the capability to use screen imagery and camouflage response techniques, and this may explain the variations people report. It is possible the physical variations may not be as great as they appear, or they may, in fact, turn out to be just as diverse as these reports indicate. It is also clear in some of the reports that the being's wrinkled skin was actually that of a space suit or other protective coverings. This image is from a well-known contact case, and this abductee-experiencer has seen this particular type of being, likely the same being, throughout most of their life. This is a rare case because of the continuity with wrinkled humanoid interaction of this type, i.e., documented over a long period of time of 20+ years. In other words, as compared to the other cases listed on this page, this is one of the few where interaction occurred, and was consciously recalled, more than once or twice. Another note about this case is that because this being appeared the same each time, we might speculate that she does not alter her form, i.e., via screen imagery or a camouflage process. This being has also been seen with another of her species who appears physically similar to her in all respects listed here. The wrinkled humanoid pictured above is a female who stands approximately 4 feet tall and has had the long black hair and the wrinkles during the entire 20+ year timeframe that the abductee-experiencer encountered her. She has dark brown skin with apparent wrinkles and brown eyes. The pupils sometimes appear vivid blue, but only when the being is telepathically reading or scanning the abductee-experiencer's mind and/or memories. This being is telepathic but is not overly receptive to communication from the abductee-experiencer and does not communicate often. When she does, she chooses to use telepathic probing to obtain information and/or to relay short communications. The demeanor of this being is unemotional and she exhibits an air of superiority over humans. Despite these apparent shortcomings in human-accepted social norms and communication, this being has telepathically expressed concern for the abductee-experiencer and has warned them of impending contact with other beings. While one abductee-experiencer relayed that he at first saw an African-American male, upon closer examination, gray folds in the skin on the face were observed, and the skin texture appeared similar to that of an elephant's skin. The longer he studied the being's face, the easier it was to detect the deep folds in his skin. Wrinkled humanoids, like Greys, blonde Nordics, and others, appear to have similar abilities to conceal their true appearance. Other reports involving beings with wrinkled skin, including skin described as being similar to that of an elephant, follow. The witness woke up in the middle of the night after hearing a noise. She went to the window and saw 2 brown beings, about 4 feet tall. The beings were thin and had long arms, their heads were large in proportion to their bodies. The window was open and one of the humanoids came up and looked inside at the witness. Shocked and terrified, the witness hid under the bed for the rest of the night. The beings walked upright and had huge black eyes. The one that came up to the window had a brown wrinkly face. It was very wrinkled, and it appeared to me to be something like an elephant's skin, but I don't know if it was a metal or what it was, but it seemed to be very wrinkled with the wrinkles running horizontal. Pascagoula, MS, 1973. The rounded head was grayish, between gray and flesh tone, except for a darker color on top, and the face bore wrinkles or loose skin like an elephant's hide. Angling upward across the forehead, 2 large egg-shaped eyes with large dark pupils. Manchester, NH, 1973. His skin was dark brown, and he had pointed ears, but his large head had no eyes, nose, or mouth. Instead, it had wrinkles on the face and 3 silver-colored fangs 2 inches long where the mouth should be. Kofu City, Yamachi Prefecture, Japan, 1975. There were 6 occupants, each 3 feet tall, who had long slit-like eyes, ape-like noses, and no hair. The skin on their faces seemed very wrinkled. They wore gloves. The witness could hear a garble of voices talking, like a bunch of CB voices, and felt extreme heat from the craft. She watched it for about 15 minutes, after which it rose straight up and flew off to the south. When she got back into the house, she found her face and legs red from the heat. Her dog, which reacted noticeably to the object, would still not let her go near the area a month later. No traces were found at the site, which was muddy. Gorham, NH, 1977. My brain was functioning, but I could not do anything physically. I tried to call out to family members, but I could not force the words out. At this stage, I started to panic, thinking I would not be able to walk again. I thought I was truly paralyzed. All of a sudden, I looked to my right side of the bed and I could see 3 or 4 figures wearing dark robes with hoods on their heads. Their faces were very wrinkled and shiny black in color. 1988. Sydney, AU. Eduardo Martinez was driving on the road near the city when his vehicle's engine and headlights suddenly quit. He stepped out of his car and was approached by 2 men wearing dark blue coveralls who had dark eyes, black hair, and wrinkled skin. The humanoids communicated via telepathy and told Martinez they were a peaceful race and did not wish to alter things on Earth. The humanoids told Martinez, among other things, that they had been visiting Earth since 1971 and had taken Earthlings up into their spaceships at various times. Querétaro, MX, vicinity. The HR team would like to thank Albert Rosales for several of these first-hand accounts. Rosales also has examples of beings wearing what appear to be spacesuits or garments that are wrinkled in a similar fashion to what is termed in America as the Michelin Man. David W. Chase is probably one of the best-known illustrators of alien beings. He has an interesting version of a being with wrinkled skin in his online sketchbook. The illustration can also be accessed in the sources section, and we encourage you to take a look at his interpretation of a being with wrinkled skin. One of the flat-headed extraterrestrials he depicts is mentioned in our discussion of our brown dwarfs. Another great source for illustrations of what the various beings look like is Kazara Dennett's art site. This is an excellent representation of a wrinkled humanoid. Also on Kazara's site is an excellent representation of what is described in America as the Michelin Man. The reports referenced in this article are obviously not all related to the same species of wrinkled humanoid, and like the blues, they remain a rather elusive and little understood race or species of extraterrestrials interacting with humans. Some of these reports may be about hybrid species we're not familiar with. On the other hand, it is likely that just as humans age and our skin loses its elasticity and becomes wrinkled, the same may be true for certain species of extraterrestrials. However, there is no way we can know this with certainty. We hope this window into wrinkled humanoids has been educational. This is by no means the only example of interaction between humans and ETs with wrinkled skin, so we encourage you to seek further and educate yourself about the contact which is occurring on our planet. Remember, there is a lot of misinformation, false or inaccurate information that is spread unintentionally, as well as disinformation, false information that is spread intentionally, on the internet, so seek wisely.